Act 5, Scene 2 of Antony and Cleopatra by William Shakespeare. Alexandria, a room in the monument. Enter Cleopatra, Charmian, and Iris. Enter Dolabella.
Most noble Empress, you have heard of me.
I cannot tell.
Assuredly you know me.
No matter, sir, what I have heard or known. You laugh when boys or women tell their dreams. Is't not your trick?
I understand not, madam.
I dreamed there was an Emperor Antony. Oh, such another sleep, that I might see but such another man.
If it might please you.
His face was as the heavens, and therein stuck a sun and moon, which kept their course, and lighted the little O, the earth.
Most sovereign creature.
His legs bestrid the ocean, his reared arm crested the world. His voice was propertied as all the tuned spheres, and that to friends. But when he meant to quail and shake the orb, he was as rattling thunder. For his bounty there was no winter in it, an autumn 'twas that grew the more by reaping. His delights were dolphin-like, they showed his back above the element they lived in. In his livery walked crowns and crownets. Realms and islands were as plates dropped from his pocket.
Cleopatra.
Think you there was or might be such a man as this I dreamed of?
Gentle madam, no.
You lie up to the hearing of the gods. But if there be, or ever were, one such, it's past the size of dreaming. Nature wants stuff to vie strange forms with fancy. Yet to imagine an Antony were nature's peace 'gainst fancy, condemning shadows quite.
Hear me, good madam. Your loss is as yourself great, and you bear it as answering to the weight. Would I might never o'ertake pursued success, but I do feel, by the rebound of yours, a grief that smites my very heart at root.
I thank you, sir. Know you what Caesar means to do with me?
I am loath to tell you what I would you knew.
Nay, pray you, sir.
Though he be honourable.
He'll lead me then in triumph.
Madam, he will. I know it.
Flourish within. Within.
Make way there. Caesar.
Enter Caesar, Gallus, Proculaus, Maecenas, Seleucus, and attendants. Which is the Queen of Egypt?
It is the Emperor, madam.
Cleopatra kneels. Arise. You shall not kneel. I pray you, rise, rise, Egypt.
Sir, the gods will have it thus. My master and my lord I must obey.
Take to you no hard thoughts. The record of what injuries you did us, though written in our flesh, we shall remember as things but done by chance.
Sole sir of the world, I cannot project mine own cause so well to make it clear, but do confess I have been laden with like frailties, which before have often shamed our sex.
Cleopatra, no, we will extenuate rather than enforce. If you apply yourself to our intents, which towards you are most gentle, you shall find a benefit in this change. But if you seek to lay on me a cruelty by taking Antony's course, you shall bereave yourself of my good purposes, and put your children to that destruction which I'll guard them from. If thereon you rely, I'll take my leave.
And may through all the world. 'Tis yours, and we, your scutcheons and your signs of conquest, shall hang in what place you please. Hear, my good lord.
You shall advise me in all for Cleopatra.
This is the brief of money, plate, and jewels I am possessed of. 'Tis exactly valued. No petty things admitted. Where's Seleucus?
Here, madam.
This is my treasurer. Let him speak, my lord, upon his peril, that I have reserved to myself nothing. Speak the truth, Seleucus.
Madam, I had rather seal my lips than to my peril speak that which is not.
What have I kept back?
Enough to purchase what you have made known. Nay, blush not, Cleopatra. I approve your wisdom in the deed.
See, Caesar, oh, behold how pomp is followed! Mine will now be yours, and, should we shift estates, yours would be mine. The ingratitude of this Seleucus does even make me wild. O slave of no more trust than love that's hired! What! Goest thou back? Thou shalt go back, I warn thee. But I'll catch thine eyes though they had wings. Slave! Soulless villain! Dog! O rarely base!
Good queen, let us entreat you.
O Caesar, what a wounding shame is this, that thou, vouchsafing here to visit me, doing the honour of thy lordliness to one so meek, that mine own servant should parcel the sum of my disgraces by addition of his envy. Say, good Caesar, that I some lady trifles have reserved, immoment toys, things of such dignity as we greet modern friends withal, and say, some nobler token I have kept apart, for Livia and Octavia, to induce their mediation. Must I be unfolded with one that I have bred? The gods! It smites me beneath the fall I have.
To Seleucus.
Prithee, go hence, or I shall show the cinders of my spirits through the ashes of my chance. Wert thou a man, thou wouldst have mercy on me.
Forbear, Seleucus. Exit Seleucus.
Be it known that we, the greatest, are misthought for things that others do, and when we fall, we answer others' merits in our name, are therefore to be pitied.
Cleopatra, not what you have reserved, nor what acknowledged, put we in the roll of conquest. Still be it yours. Bestow it at your pleasure, and believe Caesar's no merchant to make prize with you of things that merchants sold. Therefore be cheered. Make not your thoughts your prisons. No, dear queen, for we intend so to dispose you as you yourself shall give us counsel. Feed and sleep. Our care and pity is so much upon you that we remain your friend. And so, adieu.
My master and my lord.
Not so. Adieu. Flourish. Exeunt Caesar and his train.
He words me, girls, he words me that I should not be noble to myself. But hark thee, Charmian.
Whispers Charmian.
Finish, good lady. The bright day is done, and we are for the dark.
Hie thee again. I have spoke already, and it is provided. Go put it to the haste.
Madam, I will.
Re-enter Dolabella.
Where's the queen?
Behold, sir.
Exit.
Dolabella.
Madam, as thereto sworn by your command, which my love makes religion to obey, I tell you this: Caesar through Syria intends his journey, and within 3 days you, with your children, will he send before. Make your best use of this. I have performed your pleasure and my promise.
Dolabella, I shall remain your debtor.
I, your servant. Adieu, good queen. I must attend on Caesar.
Farewell, and thanks.
Exit Dolabella.
Now, Iris, what think'st thou? Thou, an Egyptian puppet, shall be shown in Rome as well as I. Mechanic slaves with greasy aprons, rules, and hammers, shall uplift us to the view. In their thick breath, rank of gross diet, shall we be inclouded, and forced to drink their vapour.
The gods forbid.
Nay, 'tis most certain, Iras. Saucy lictors will catch at us like strumpets, and scald rhymers ballad us out of tune. The quick comedians extemporally will stage us, and present our Alexandrian revels. Antony shall be brought drunken forth, and I shall see some squeaking Cleopatra boy my greatness in the posture of a whore.
Oh, the good gods!
Nay, that's certain.
I'll never see it, for I am sure my nails are stronger than mine eyes.
Why, that's the way to fool their preparation, and to conquer their most absurd intents.
Enter Charmian.
Now, Charmian, show me my women like a queen. Go fetch my best attires. I am again for Cydnus, to meet Mark Antony. Sirrah Iris, go. Now, noble Charmian, will dispatch indeed, and when thou hast done this chair, I'll give thee leave to play till doomsday. Bring our crown and all.
Exit Iris. A noise within.
Wherefore's this noise?
Enter one of the guard.
Here is a rural fellow that will not be denied your highness's presence. He brings you figs.
Let him come in.
Exit guard.
What poor an instrument may do a noble deed? He brings me liberty. My resolution's placed, and I have nothing of woman in me. Now from head to foot I am marble constant. Now the fleeting moon no planet is of mine.
Re-enter guard with clown bringing a basket.
This is the man.
Avoid, and leave him.
Exit guard.
Hast thou the pretty worm of Nilus there, that kills and pains not?
Truly I have him, but I would not be the party that should desire you to touch him, for his biting is immortal. Those that do die of it do seldom or never recover.
Rememberst thou any that have died on it?
Very many, men and women too. I heard of one of them no longer than yesterday, a very honest woman, but something given to lie, as a woman should not do, but in the way of honesty. How she died of the biting of it, what pain she felt. Truly she makes a very good report of the worm, but he that will believe all that they say shall never be saved by half that they do. But this is most valuable. The worm's an odd worm.
Get thee hence. Farewell.
I wish you all joy of the worm.
Sets down the basket.
Farewell.
You must think this, look you, that the worm will do his kind.
Ay, ay, farewell.
Look you, the worm is not to be trusted, but in the keeping of wise people. For indeed there is no goodness in the worm.
Take thou no care, it shall be heeded.
Very good. Give it nothing, I pray you, for it is not worth the feeding.
Will it eat me?
You must not think I am so simple, but I know the devil himself will not eat a woman. I know that a woman is a dish for the gods, if the devil dress her not. But truly these same whoreson devils do the gods great harm in their women, for in every 10 that they make, the devils mar 5.
Well, get thee gone. Farewell.
Yes, forsooth. I wish you joy o' the worm.
Exit. Re-enter Iris with a robe, crown, etc.
Give me my robe, put on my crown. I have immortal longings in me. Now no more the juice of Egypt's grape shall moist this lip. Yea, yea, good Iris, quick. Methinks I hear Antony call. I see him rouse himself to praise my noble act. I hear him mock the luck of Caesar, which the gods give men to excuse their after wrath. Husband, I come. Now to that name my courage prove my title. I am fire and air, my other elements I give to baser life. So, have you done? Come then, and take the last warmth of my lips. Farewell, kind Charmian. Iras, long farewell.
Kisses them. Iris falls and dies.
Have I the aspic in my lips? Dost fall? If thus thou and nature can so gently part, the stroke of death is as a lover's pinch, which hurts and is desired. Dost thou lie still? If thou vanishest, thou tell'st the world it is not worth leave-taking.
Dissolve thick cloud and rain, that I may say the gods themselves do weep.
This proves me base. If she first meet the curled Antony, he'll make demand of her, and spend that kiss which is my heaven to have. Come, thou mortal wretch.
To an asp which she applies to her breast.
With thy sharp teeth this knot intrinsicate of life at once untie. Poor venomous fool, be angry, and dispatch. O couldst thou speak, that I might hear thee call great Caesar as unpolicied.
O eastern star!
Peace, peace. Dost thou not see my baby at my breast, that sucks the nurse asleep?
O break, O break!
As sweet as balm, as soft as air, as gentle. O Antony! Nay, I will take thee too.
Applying another asp to her arm.
What should I stay?
Falls on a bed and dies.
In this vile world, so fare thee well. Now boast thee, death, in thy possession lies a lass unparalleled. Downy windows close, and golden Phoebus never be beheld of eyes again so royal. Your crown's awry, I'll mend it and then play.
Enter the guard rushing in.
Where's the queen?
Speak softly, wake her not.
Caesar hath sent.
Too slow a messenger.
Applies an asp.
Oh, come apace, dispatch. I partly feel thee.
Approach, ho! All's not well. Caesar's beguiled. There's Dolabella sent from Caesar. Call him. What work is here? Charmian, is this well done?
It is well done, and fitting for a princess descended of so many royal kings. Ah, soldier! Ah!
Charmian dies. End of Act 5, Scene 2, from Antony and Cleopatra. Act 3, Scene 2, from As You Like It, by William Shakespeare. The Forest of Arden.
Didst thou hear these verses?
Oh yes, I heard them all, and more too, for some of them had in them more feet than the verses would bear.
That's no matter. The feet might bear the verses.
Ay, but the feet were lame, and could not bear themselves without the verse, and therefore stood lamely in the verse.
But didst thou hear without wondering how thy name should be hanged and carved upon these trees?
I was 7 of the 9 days out of the wonder before you came, for look here what I found on a palm tree. I was never so berhymed since Pythagoras' time, that I was an Irish rat, which I can hardly remember.
Trow you who has done this?
Is it a man?
And a chain that you once wore about his neck. Change you colour?
I pray thee, who?
Oh, Lord, Lord, it is a hard matter for friends to meet, but mountains may be removed with earthquakes, and so encounter.
Nay, but who is it?
Is it possible?
Nay, I prithee now with most petitionary vehemence, tell me who it is.
Oh, wonderful, wonderful, most wonderful, wonderful, and yet again wonderful, and after that, out of all whooping.
Good my complexion! Dost thou think, though I am caparisoned like a man, I have a doublet and hose in my disposition? 1 inch of delay more is a South Sea of discovery. I prithee, tell me, who is it? Quickly, and speak apace. I would thou couldst stammer, that thou mightest pour this concealed man out of thy mouth, as wine comes out of a narrow-mouthed bottle, either too much at once, or none at all. I prithee, take the cork out of thy mouth, that I may drink thy tidings.
So you may put a man in your belly.
Is he of God's making? What manner of man? Is his head worth a hat, or his chin worth a beard?
Nay, he hath but a little beard.
Why, God will send more, if the man will be thankful. Let me stay the growth of his beard, if thou delay me not the knowledge of his chin.
It is young Orlando, that tripped up the wrestler's heels and your heart, both in an instant.
Nay, but the devil take mocking. Speak, sad brow and true maid.
I' faith, coz, 'tis he.
Orlando?
Orlando.
Alas the day! What shall I do with my doublet and hose? What did he when thou saw'st him? What said he? How looked he? Wherein went he? What makes he here? Did he ask for me? Where remains he? How parted he with thee? And when shalt thou see him again? Answer me in one word.
You must borrow me Gargantua's mouth first. 'Tis a word too great for any mouth of this age's size. To say aye and no to these particulars is more than to answer in a catechism.
But doth he know that I am in this forest, and in man's apparel? Looks he as freshly as he did the day he wrestled?
It is as easy to count atomies as to resolve the propositions of a lover. But take a taste of my finding him, and relish it with good observance. I found him under a tree, like a dropped acorn.
It may well be called Jove's tree, when it drops forth such fruit.
Give me audience, good madam.
Proceed.
There lay he, stretched along like a wounded knight.
Though it be pity to see such a sight, it well becomes the ground.
Cry holla to thy tongue, I prithee. It curvets unseasonably. He was furnished like a hunter.
Oh, ominous! He comes to kill my heart.
I would sing my song without a burden. Thou bring'st me out of tune.
Do you not know I am a woman? When I think, I must speak. Sweet, say on.
You bring me out. Soft. Comes he not here?
'Tis he. Slink by and note him.
Celia and Rosalind retire. Enter Orlando and Jacques. I thank you for your company, but, good faith, I had as lief have been by myself alone.
And so had I, but yet for fashion's sake. I thank you too for your society.
God buy you. Let's meet as little as we can.
I do desire we may be better strangers.
I pray you, mar no more trees with writing love songs in their barks.
I pray you, mar no more of my verses with reading them ill-favouredly.
Rosalind is your love's name?
Yes, just.
I do not like her name.
There was no thought of pleasing you when she was christened.
What stature is she of?
Just as high as my heart.
You are full of pretty answers. Have you not been acquainted with goldsmiths' wives and conned them out of rings?
Not so, but I answer you right painted cloth, from whence you have studied your questions.
You have a nimble wit. I think 'twas made of Atalanta's heels. Will you sit down with me, and we two will rail against our mistress the world and all our misery?
I will chide no breather in the world but myself, against whom I know most faults.
The worst fault you have is to be in love.
'Tis a fault I will not change for your best virtue. I am weary of you.
By my troth, I was seeking for a fool when I found you.
He is drowned in the brook. Look but in, and you shall see him.
There I shall see mine own figure.
Which I take to be either a fool or a cipher.
I'll tarry no longer with you. Farewell, good Signor Love.
I am glad of your departure. Adieu, good Monsieur Melancholie.
Exit Jacques. Celia and Rosalind come forward.
I will speak to him like a saucy lackey, and under that habit play the knave with him. Do you hear, Forester?
Very well. What would you?
I pray you, what is't o'clock?
You should ask me what time of day. There's no clock in the forest.
Then there is no true lover in the forest, else sighing every minute and groaning every hour would detect the lazy foot of time as well as a clock.
And why not the swift foot of time? Had not that been as proper?
By no means, sir. Time travels in diverse paces with diverse persons. I'll tell you who time ambles withal, who time trots withal, who time gallops withal, and who he stands still withal.
I prithee. Who doth he trot withal?
Marry, he trots hard with a young maid between the contract of her marriage and the day it is solemnized. If the interim be but a se'nnight, time's pace is so hard that it seems the length of 7 year.
Who ambles time withal?
With a priest that lacks Latin and a rich man that hath not the gout. For the one sleeps easily because he cannot study, and the other lives merrily because he feels no pain. The one lacking the burden of lean and wasteful learning, the other knowing no burden of heavy, tedious penury. These time ambles withal.
Who doth he gallop withal?
With a thief to the gallows, for though he go as softly as foot can fall, he thinks himself too soon there.
Who stays it still withal?
With lawyers in the vacation, for they sleep between term and term, and then they perceive not how time moves.
Where dwell you, pretty youth?
With this shepherdess, my sister, here in the skirts of the forest, like a fringe upon a petticoat.
Are you native of this place?
As the coney, that you see dwell where she is kindled.
Your accent is something finer than you could purchase, and so remove the dwelling.
I have been told so of many, but indeed an old religious uncle of mine taught me to speak, who was in his youth an inland man, one that knew courtship too well, for there he fell in love. I have heard him read many lectures against it, and I thank God I am not a woman, to be touched with so many giddy offences as he hath generally taxed their whole sex withal.
Can you remember any of the principal evils that he laid to the charge of women?
There were none principal. They were all like one another as halfpence are, every one fault seeming monstrous till his fellow fault came to match it.
I prithee recount some of them.
No, I will not cast away my physic, but on those that are sick. There is a man haunts the forest that abuses our young plants with carving Rosalind on their barks, hangs odes upon hawthorns and elegies on brambles, all, forsooth, deifying the name of Rosalind. If I could meet that fancy-monger, I would give him some good counsel, for he seems to have the quotidian of love upon him.
I am he that is so love-shake. I pray you tell me your remedy.
There is none of my uncle's marks upon you. He taught me how to know a man in love, in which cage of rushes I am sure you are not a prisoner.
What were his marks?
A lean cheek, which you have not. A blue eye and sunken, which you have not. An unquestionable spirit, which you have not. A beard neglected, which you have not. But I pardon you for that, for simply your having in beard is a younger brother's revenue. Then your hose should be ungartered, your bonnet unbanded, your sleeve unbuttoned, your shoe untied, and everything about you demonstrating a careless desolation. But you are no such man. You are rather point device in your accoutrements, as loving yourself than seeming the lover of any other.
Fair youth, I would I could make thee believe I love.
Me believe it? You may as soon make her that you love believe it, which, I warrant, she is apter to do than to confess she does. That is one of the points in the which women still give the lie to their consciences. But, in good sooth, are you he that hangs the verses on the trees, wherein Rosalind is so admired?
I swear to thee, youth, by the white hand of Rosalind, I am that he, that unfortunate he.
But are you so much in love as your rhymes speak?
Neither rhyme nor reason can express how much.
Love is merely a madness, and, I tell you, deserves as well a dark house and a whip as madmen do. And the reason why they are not so punished and cured is, that the lunacy is so ordinary that the whippers are in love too. Yet I profess curing it by counsel.
Did you ever cure any so?
Yes, one, and in this manner. He was to imagine me his love, his mistress, and I set him every day to woo me, at which time would I, being but a moonish youth, grieve, be effeminate, changeable, longing and liking, proud, fantastical, apish, shallow, inconstant, full of tears, full of smiles, for every passion something, and for no passion truly anything, as boys and women are for the most part cattle of this colour, would now like him, now loathe him, then entertain him, then forswear him, now weep for him, then spit at him. I drave my suitor from his mad humour of love to a living humour of madness, which was to forswear the full stream of the world, and to live in a nook merely monastic. And thus I cured him, and this way will I take upon me to wash your liver as clean as a sound sheep's heart. that there shall not be one spot of love in it.
I would not be cured, youth.
I would cure you, if you would but call me Rosalind, and come every day to my cote and woo me.
Now, by the faith of my love, I will. Tell me where it is.
Go with me to it, and I'll show it you. And by the way, you shall tell me where in the forest you live. Will you go?
With all my heart, good youth.
Nay, you must call me Rosalind. Come, sister, will you go?
Exeunt. End of Act 3, Scene 2, from As You Like It.
Act 3, Scene 4, from Hamlet by William Shakespeare. Scene 4. Another room in the castle. Enter Queen and Polonius.
He will come straight. Look you lay home to him. Tell him his pranks have been too broad to bear with, and that your grace hath screened and stood between much heat and him. I'll silence me in here. Pray you, be round with him.
Mother, mother, mother.
I'll warrant you, fear me not. Withdraw, I hear him coming.
Polonius goes behind the arras. Enter Hamlet.
Now, mother, what's the matter?
Hamlet, thou hast thy father much offended.
Mother, you have my father much offended.
Come, come, you answer with an idle tongue.
Go, go, you question with a wicked tongue.
Why, how now, Hamlet?
What's the matter now?
Have you forgot me?
No, by the rood, not so. You are the queen, your husband's brother's wife, and would it were not so, you are my mother.
Nay, then, I'll set those to you that can speak.
Come, come, and sit you down. You shall not budge, you go not, till I set you up a glass where you may see the inmost part of you.
What wilt thou do? Thou wilt not murder me. Help! Help! Ho!
What? Ho! Help! Help! Help!
How now? A rat! Dead! For a ducat! Dead!
Makes a pass through the arras.
Oh, I am slain.
Oh me! What hast thou done?
Nay, I know not. Is it the king?
Draws forth Polonius.
Oh, what a rash and bloody deed is this!
A bloody deed, almost as bad, good mother, as kill a king and marry with his brother.
As kill a king?
Ay, lady, 'twas my word.
To Polonius.
Thou wretched, rash, intruding fool, farewell. I took thee for thy better, take thy fortune. Thou findest to be too busy is some danger. Leave wringing of your hands, peace. Sit you down, and let me wring your heart, for so I shall, if it be made of penetrable stuff, if damned custom have not praised it so, that it is proof and bullock against sense.
What have I done that thou darest wag thy tongue in noise so rude against me?
Such an act that blurs the grace and blush of modesty, calls virtue hypocrite, takes off the rose from the fair forehead of an innocent love, and sets a blister there, makes marriage vows as false as dices oaths. O such a deed, as from the body of contraction plucks the very soul, and sweet religion makes a rhapsody of words. Heaven's face doth glow, yea, this solidity and compound mass with trustful visage, as against the doom, is thought sick at the act.
Ah me! What act that roars so loud and thunders in the index?
Look here, upon this picture, and on this, the counterfeit presentment of two brothers. See what a grace was seated on this brow, Hyperion's curls, the front of Jove himself, an eye like Mars to threaten and command, a station like the herald Mercury new lighted on a heaven-kissing hill, a combination and a form indeed, where every god did seem to set his seal, to give the world assurance of a man. This was your husband. Look you now what follows. Here is your husband, like a mildewed ear blasting his wholesome brother. Have you eyes? Could you on this fair mountain leave to feed, and batten on this moor? Ha! Have you eyes? You cannot call it love, for at your age the heyday in the blood is tame, it's humble, and waits upon the judgment. And what judgment would step from this to this? Sense sure you have, else could you not have motion. But sure that sense is apoplexed, for madness would not err, nor sense to ecstasy was ne'er so thralled, but it reserved some quantity of choice to serve in such a difference. What devil was it that thus hath cozened you at Hoodman blind? Eyes without feeling, feeling without sight, ears without hands, or eyes smelling sans all, or but a sickly part of one true sense, could not so mope. O shame, where is thy blush, rebellious hell? If thou canst mutine in a matron's bones to flaming youth, let virtue be as wax, and melt in her own fire. Proclaim no shame when the compulsive ardour gives the charge, since rust itself as actively doth burn, and reason panders will.
O Hamlet, speak no more. Thou turn'st mine eyes into my very soul, and there I see such black and grained spots as will not leave their tinct.
Nay, but to live in the rank sweat of an enseamed bed, stewed in corruption, honeying and making love over the nasty sty.
Oh, speak to me no more. These words like daggers enter in mine ears. No more, sweet Hamlet.
A murderer and a villain, a slave that is not 20th part the tithe of your precedent lord, a vice of kings, a cut purse of the empire and the rule, that from a shelf the precious diadem stole and put it in his pocket.
No more.
A king of shreds and patches.
Enter Ghost.
Save me, and hover o'er me with your wings, you heavenly guards. What would your gracious figure?
Alas, he is mad.
Do you not come, your tardy son to chide, that lapsed in time and passion lets go by the important acting of your dread command? Oh, say!
Do not forget, this visitation is but to whet thy almost blunted purpose. But look, amazement on thy mother sits. Oh, step between her and her fighting soul. Conceit in weakest bodies strongest works. Speak to her, Hamlet.
How is it with you, lady?
Alas, how is it with you, that you do bend your eye on vacancy, and with the incorporeal air do hold discourse? Forth at your eyes your spirits wildly peep, and as the sleeping soldiers in the alarm, your bedded hairs, like life in excrements, start up and stand on end. O gentle sun, upon the heat and flame of thy distemper sprinkle cool patience. Whereon do you look?
On him! On him! Look you how pale he glares! His form and cause conjoined, preaching to stones, would make them capable. Do not look upon me, lest with this piteous action you convert my stern effects. Then what I have to do will want true colour, tears perchance for blood.
To whom do you speak this?
Do you see nothing there?
Nothing at all, yet all that is I see.
Nor did you nothing hear?
No, nothing but ourselves.
Why, look you there, look how it steals away, my father, in his habit as he lived. Look where he goes, even now, out at the portal.
This is the very coinage of your brain. This bodiless creation ecstasy is very cunning in.
Ecstasy! My pulse, as yours, doth temperately keep time, and makes as helpful music. It is not madness that I have uttered. Bring me to the test, and I the matter will reword, which madness would gamble from. Mother, for love of grace, lay not that flattering unction to your soul, that not your trespass but my madness speaks. It will but skin and film the ulcerous place, whilst rank corruption, mining all within, infects unseen. Confess yourself to heaven, repent what's past, avoid what is to come, and do not spread the compost on the weeds to make them ranker. Forgive me this my virtue, for in the fatness of these pursy times virtue itself of vice must pardon beg, yea, curb and woo for leave to do him good.
O Hamlet, thou hast cleft my heart in twain.
Oh, throw away the worser part of it, and live the purer with the other half. good night. But go not to mine uncle's bed. Assume a virtue, if you have it not. That monster custom, who all sense doth eat of habits evil, is angel yet in this, that to the use of actions fair and good he likewise gives a frock or livery that aptly is put on. Refrain to-night, and that shall lend a kind of easiness to the next abstinence, the next more easy, for use almost can change the stamp of nature, and either curb the devil or throw him out with wondrous potency. Once more, good night. And when you are desirous to be blessed, our blessing beg of you. For this same Lord I do repent, but heaven hath pleased it so to punish me with this, and this with me, that I must be their scourge and minister. I will bestow him, and will answer well the death I gave him. So again, good night. I must be cruel only to be kind. Thus bad begins, and worse remains behind. One word more, good lady.
What shall I do?
Not this, by no means, that I bid you do. Let the bloat king tempt you again to bed, pinch wanton on your cheek, call you his mouse, and let him for a pair of reechy kisses, or paddling in your neck with his damned fingers, make you to ravel all this matter out, that I essentially am not in madness, but mad in craft. 'Twere good you let him know, for who that's but a queen fair, sober, wise, would from a paddock, from a bat, a gib, such dear concernings hide? Who would do so? No, in despite of sense and secrecy, unpeg the basket on the house's top, let the birds fly, and like the famous ape, to try conclusions, in the basket creep, and break your own neck down.
Be thou assured, if words be made of breath, and breath of life, I have no life to breathe what thou hast said to me.
I must to England, you know that.
Alack, I had forgot. 'Tis so concluded on.
There's letters sealed, and my two schoolfellows, whom I will trust as I will adders fanged, they bear the mandate. They must sweep my way, and marshal me to knavery. Let it work, for 'tis the sport to have the engineer hoist with his own petard. And it shall go hard, but I will delve 1 yard below their minds, and blow them at the moon. Oh, 'tis most sweet, when in one line two crafts directly meet. This man shall set me packing. I'll lug the guts into the neighbour room. Mother, good night. Indeed this counsellor is now most still, most secret, and most grave, who was in life a foolish prating knave. Come, sir, to draw toward an end with you. Good night, mother.
Exeunt severally. Hamlet dragging out Polonius. End of Act 3, Scene 4 from Hamlet. Act 2, Scene 4 from Henry IV by William Shakespeare. Scene 4. East Cheap. A room in the Boar's Head Tavern.
Here comes lean Jack. Here comes Barebone.
Enter Falstaff.
How now, my sweet creature of bombast? How long is't ago, Jack, since thou sawest thine own knee?
My own knee? When I was about thy years, Hal, I was not an eagle's talon in the waist. I could have crept into any alderman's thumb ring. A plague of sighing and grief. It blows a man up like a bladder. There's villainous news abroad. Here was John Bracy from your father. You must to the court in the morning. That same mad fellow of the north, Percy, and he of Wales, gave a Mayman the bastinado, and swore the devil his true liegeman upon the cross of a Welsh hook. What a plague call you him?
Oh, Glendower.
Owen the same, and his son-in-law Mortimer, and old Northumberland, and that sprightly Scot of Scots, Douglas, that runs a horseback up a hill perpendicular.
He that rides at high speed, and with his pistol kills a sparrow flying.
You have hit it.
So did he never the sparrow.
Well, that rascal hath good mettle in him. He will not run.
Why, what a rascal art thou then to praise him so for running?
A horseback, ye cuckoo. But to foot he will not budge a foot.
Yes, Jack, upon instinct.
I grant ye, upon instinct. Well, he is there too, and one more take, and 1,000 blue caps more. Worcester is stolen away tonight. Thy father's beard is turned white with the news. You may buy land now as cheap as stinking mackerel. But tell me, Hal, art not thou horrible afeard? Thou being heir apparent, could the world pick thee out 3 such enemies again as that fiend Douglas, that spirit Percy, and that devil Glendower? Art thou not horribly afraid? Doth not thy blood thrill at it?
Not a witty faith. I lack some of thy instinct.
Well, thou wilt be horribly chid to-morrow when thou comest to thy father. If thou love life, practise an answer.
Do thou stand for my father, and examine me upon the particulars of my life.
Shall I? Content? This chair shall be my state, this dagger my sceptre, and this cushion my crown.
Thy state is taken for a joint stool, thy golden sceptre for a leaden dagger, and thy precious rich crown for a pitiful bald crown.
Well, and the fire of grace be not quite out of thee, now shalt thou be moved. Give me a cup of sack, to make my eyes look red, that it may be thought I have wept. For I must speak in passion, and I will do it in King Cambyses' vein.
Well, here is my leg.
And here is my speech. Stand aside, nobility.
Oh, Jesus, this is excellent sport, faith.
Weep not, sweet queen, for trickling tears are vain.
Oh, the father, how he holds his countenance.
For God's sake, lords, convey my trustful queen, for tears do stop the floodgates of her eyes.
Oh, Jesus, he does it as like one of these harlotry players as ever has seen.
Peace, good bite, but peace, good ticklebrain. Harry, I do not only marvel where thou spendest thy time, but also how thou art accompanied. For, though the camomile, the more it is trodden on, the faster it grows, yet youth, the more it is wasted, the sooner it wears. That thou art my son, I have partly thy mother's word, partly my own opinion, but chiefly a villainous trick of thine eye, and a foolish hanging of thy nether lip, that doth warrant me. If then thou be son to me, here lies the point. Why, being son to me, art thou so pointed at? Shall the blessed Son of Heaven prove a meacher, and eat blackberries? A question not to be asked. Shall the Son of England prove a thief, and take purses? A question to be asked. There is a thing, Harry,
which thou hast often heard of, and it is known to many in our land by the name of pitch. This pitch, as ancient writers do report, doth defile, so doth the company thou keepest. For, Harry, now I do not speak to thee in drink, but in tears, not in pleasure, but in passion, not in words only, but in woes also. And yet there is a virtuous man whom I have often noted in thy company, but I know not his name.
What manner of man, an it like your majesty?
A goodly portly man of faith, and a corpulent, of a cheerful look, a pleasing eye, and a most noble carriage, and as I think his age some 50, or, my lady, inclining to threescore. And now I remember me, his name is Falstaff. If that man should be lewdly given, he deceiveth me. For, Harry, I see virtue in his looks. If, then, the tree may be known by the fruit, as the fruit by the tree, then, peremptorily I speak it, there is virtue in that Falstaff. Him keep with, the rest banish. And tell me now, thou naughty varlet, tell me, where hast thou been this month?
Dost thou speak like a king? Do thou stand for me, and I'll play my father.
Depose me, if thou dost it half so gravely, so majestically, both in word and matter, hang me up by the heels for a rabbit sucker or a poulter's hare.
Well, here I am set.
And here I stand. Judge, my masters.
Now, Harry, whence come you?
My noble lord, from Egypt.
The complaints I hear of thee are grievous.
Blood, my lord, they are false. Nay, I'll tickle you for a young prince of faith.
Swearest thou, ungracious boy? Henceforth ne'er look on me. Thou art violently carried away from grace. There is a devil haunts thee, in the likeness of an old fat man. A turned man is thy companion. Why dost thou converse with that trunk of humours, that bolting hutch of beastliness, that swollen parcel of dropsies, that huge bombard of sack, that roasted Manningtree ox with the pudding in his belly, that reverend vice, that grey iniquity, that father ruffian, that vanity in years? Wherein is he good, but to taste sack and drink it? Wherein neat and cleanly, but to carve a capon and eat it? Wherein cunning, but in craft? Wherein crafty, but in villainy? Wherein villainous, but in all things? Wherein worthy, but in nothing?
I would your grace would take me with you. Who means your grace?
That villainous, abominable misleader of youth, Falstaff, that old white-bearded Satan.
My lord, the man I know.
I know thou dost.
But to say I know more harm in him than in myself were to say more than I know. That he is old, the more the pity, his white hairs do witness it. If sack and sugar be a fault, God help the wicked. If to be old and merry be a sin, then many an old host that I know is damned. If to be fat be to be hated, then Pharaoh's lean kine are to be loved. No, my good lord, banish Peter, banish Bardolph, banish Points. But for sweet Jack Falstaff, kind Jack Falstaff, true Jack Falstaff, valiant Jack Falstaff, and therefore more valiant, being, as he is, old Jack Falstaff, banish not him thy Harry's company, banish not him thy Harry's company. Banish plump Jack, and banish all the world.
I do. I will.
End of Act 2, Scene 4, from Henry IV by William Shakespeare. Act 4, Scene 3, of Julius Caesar by William Shakespeare. Act 4, Scene 3, Brutus's tent. Enter Brutus and Cassius.
That you have wronged me doth appear in this. You have condemned and noted Lucius Palla for taking bribes here of the Sardians, wherein my letters praying on his side, because I knew the man was slighted off.
You wronged yourself to write in such a case.
In such a time as this, it is not meet that every nice offence should bear his common.
Let me tell you, Cassius, you yourself are much condemned to have an itching palm, to sell and mart your offices for gold to undeservers.
I, an itching palm! You know that you are Brutus that speak this. Oh, by the gods, this speech were else your last.
The name of Cassius honours this corruption, and chastisement doth therefore hide his head.
Chastisement!
Remember March, the Ides of March, remember. Did not great Julius bleed for justice' sake? What villain touched his body that did stab, and not for justice? What? Shall one of us, that struck the foremost man of all this world but for supporting robbers, shall we now contaminate our fingers with base bribes, and sell the mighty space of our large honours for so much trash as may be grasped thus? I had rather be a dog and bay the moon than such a Roman.
Brutus, bay not me, I'll not endure it. You forget yourself to hedge me in. I am a soldier, I, older in practice, abler than yourself to make conditions.
Go to, you are not, Cassius.
I am.
I say you are not.
Urge me no more, I shall forget myself. Have mind upon your health. Tempt me no further.
Away, slight man.
Is't possible?
Hear me, for I will speak. Must I give way and room to your rash choler? Shall I be frighted when a madman stares?
Oh, ye gods, must I endure all this?
All this? Aye, more. Fret till your proud heart break. Go show your slaves how choleric you are, and make your bondmen tremble. Must I budge? Must I observe you? Must I stand and crouch under your testy humour? By the gods, you shall digest the venom of your spleen, though it do split you. For from this day forth I'll use you for my mirth. Yes, for my laughter when you are waspish.
Is it come to this?
You say you are a better soldier. Let it appear so. Make your vaunting true, and it shall please me well. For mine own part, I shall be glad to learn of noble men.
You wrong me every way. You wrong me, Brutus. I said an elder soldier, not a better. Did I say better?
If you did, I care not.
When Caesar lived, he durst not thus have moved me.
Peace, peace. You durst not so have tempted him.
I durst not.
No.
What? Durst not tempt him?
For your life you durst not.
Do not presume too much upon my love. I may do that I shall be sorry for.
You have done that you should be sorry for. There is no terror, Cassius, in your threats, for I am armed so strong in honesty that they pass by me as the idle wind which I respect not. I did send to you for certain sums of gold, which you denied me, for I can raise no money by vile means. By heaven, I had rather coin my heart and drop my blood for drachmas than to wring from the hard hands of peasants their vile trash by any indirection. I did send to you for gold to pay my legions, which you denied me. Was that done like Cassius? Should I have answered Caius Cassius so? When Marcus Brutus grows so covetous to lock such rascal counters from his friends, be ready, gods, with all your thunderbolts. Dash him to pieces.
I denied you not.
You did.
I did not. He was but a fool that brought my answer back. Brutus hath rived my heart. A friend should bear his friend's infirmities, but Brutus makes mine greater than they are.
I do not till you practice them on me.
You love me not.
I do not like your faults.
A friendly eye could never see such faults.
A flatterer's would not, though they do appear as huge as high Olympus.
Come, Antony and young Octavius, come, revenge yourselves alone on Cassius, for Cassius is aweary of the world, hated by one he loves, brave by his brother, checked like a bondman, all his faults observed, set in a notebook, learned and conned by rote to cast into my teeth. Oh, I could weep my spirit from mine eyes. There is my dagger, and here my naked breast, within a heart dearer than Plutus mine, richer than gold. If that thou beest a Roman, take it forth. I, that denied thee gold, will give my heart. Strike, as thou didst at Caesar, for I know when thou didst hate him worse, thou lovest him better than ever thou lovest Cassius.
Sheathe your dagger. Be angry when you will, it shall have scope. Do what you will, dishonour shall be humour. Oh, Cassius, you are yoked with a lamb that carries anger as the flint bears fire, who much enforced shows a hasty spark, and straight is cold again.
Hath Cassius lived to be but mirth and laughter to his Brutus, when grief and blood ill-tempered vexeth him?
And I spoke that. I was ill-tempered too.
Do you confess so much? Oh, give me your hand.
And my heart too.
Oh, Brutus!
What's the matter?
Have not you love enough to bear with me, when that rash humour which my mother gave me makes me forgetful?
Yes, Cassius, and from henceforth, when you are over earnest with your Brutus, he'll think your mother chides, and leave you so.
Let me go in to see the generals. There is some grudge between them. 'Tis not meet they be alone.
You shall not come to them.
Nothing but death shall stay me.
Enter Poet, followed by Lucilius, Tintinius, and Lucius.
How now? What's the matter?
For shame, you generals! What do you mean? Love and be friends, as two such men should be, for I have seen more years, I'm sure, than ye.
Ha ha! How vilely doth this cynic rhyme!
Get you hence, sirrah, saucy fellow, hence.
Bear with him, Brutus, 'tis his fashion.
I'll know his humour when he knows his time. What should the wars do with these jigging fools? Companion, hence.
Away, away, begone!
Exit Poet.
Lucilius and Titinius, bid the commanders prepare to lodge their companies tonight.
And come yourselves, and bring Messala with you immediately to us.
Exeunt Lucilius and Tintinius.
Lucius, a bowl of wine.
Exit Lucius.
I did not think you could have been so angry.
Oh, Cassius, I am sick of many griefs.
Of your philosophy you make no use, if you give place to accidental evils.
No man bears sorrow better. Portia is dead.
Ah, Portia!
She is dead.
How escaped I killing when I crossed you so? O insupportable and touching loss! Upon what sickness?
Impatient of my absence, and grief that young Octavius with Mark Antony have made themselves so strong. For with her death that tidings came. With this she fell distract, and her attendants absent swallowed fire.
And died so?
Even so.
O ye immortal gods!
Re-enter Lucius with wine and taper.
Speak no more of her. Give me a bowl of wine. In this I bury all unkindness, Cassius.
My heart is thirsty for that noble pledge. Fill, Lucius, till the wine o'erswell the cup. I cannot drink too much of Brutus' love.
End of Act 4, Scene 3, from Julius Caesar.
Act 2, Scene 4, from King Lear, by William Shakespeare. Scene 4, before Gloucester's castle. Kent in the stocks. Enter Lear, fool, and gentleman. Enter Cornwall, Regan, Gloucester, and servants. Good morrow to you both.
Hail to your grace.
Kent is set at liberty.
I am glad to see your highness.
Regan, I think you are. I know what reason I have to think so. If thou shouldst not be glad, I would divorce me from thy mother's tomb, sepulchring an adulteress. To Kent. Are you free? Some other time for that. Beloved Regan, thy sister's not. Oh, Regan, she hath tied sharp-toothed unkindness like a vulture. Here, I can scarce speak to thee. Thou'lt not believe with how depraved a quality. Oh, Regan!
I pray you, sir, take patience. I have hope you less know how to value her desert than she to scant her duty.
Say, how's that?
I cannot think my sister in the least would fail her obligation, if, sir, perchance, she have restrained the riots of your followers, 'tis on such ground and to such wholesome end as clears her from all blame.
My curses on her!
Oh, sir, you are old. Nature in you stands on the very verge of her confine. You should be ruled and led by some discretion that discerns your state better than you yourself. Therefore I pray you, that to our sister you do make a return. Say you have wronged her, sir.
Ask her forgiveness? Do you but mark how this becomes the house? Dear daughter, I confess that I am old. Age is unnecessary. On my knees I beg that you vouchsafe me raiment, bed, and food.
Good sir, no more. These are unsightly tricks. Return you to my sister.
Never, Regan. She hath abated me of half my train. Look black upon me. Struck me with her tongue, most serpent-like, upon the very heart. All the stored vengeances of heaven fall on her ingrateful top. Strike her young bones, you're taking airs with lameness.
Fie, sir, fie.
Your nimble lightnings, dart your blinding flames into her scornful eyes. Infect her beauty, you fin-sucked fogs, drawn by the powerful sun to fall and blast her pride.
Oh, the blessed gods! So will you wish on me when the rash mood is on?
No, Regan, thou shalt never have my curse. Thy tender-hefted nature shall not give thee o'er to harshness. Her eyes are fierce, but thine do comfort and not burn. 'Tis not indeed to grudge my pleasures, to cut off my train, to bandy hasty words, to scant my sizes, and, in conclusion, to oppose the bolt against my coming in. Thou better know'st the offices of nature, bond of childhood, effects of courtesy, dues of gratitude. Thy half of the kingdom hast thou not forgot, whereon I thee endowed.
Good sir, to the purpose.
Who put my man i' the stocks?
What trumpets that?
I know it, my sisters. This approves her letter that she would soon be here.
Enter Oswald.
Is your lady come?
This is a slave whose easy borrowed pride dwells in the fickle grace of her he follows. Out, varlet, from my sight!
What means your grace?
Who stopped my servant? Regan, I have good hope thou didst not know on't. Who comes here? Oh, heavens! Enter Goneril. If you do love old men, if your sweet sway allow obedience, if yourselves are old, make it your cause. Send down and take my part. Art not ashamed to look upon this beard? Oh, Regan, wilt thou take her by the hand?
Why not by the hand, sir? How have I offended? All's not offence that indiscretion finds and dotage terms so.
Oh, sides, you are too tough. Will you yet hold? How came my man in the stocks?
I set him there, sir, but his own disorders deserved much less advancement.
You, did you?
I pray you, father, being weak, seem so. If till the expiration of your month you will return and sojourn with my sister, dismissing half your train, come then to me. I am now from home, and out of that provision which shall be needful for your entertainment.
Return to her, and 50 men dismissed? No, rather I abjure all roofs, and choose to wage against the enmity of the air, to be a comrade with the wolf and owl. Necessity's sharp pinch. Return with her. Why, the hot-blooded France that dowerless took our youngest born, I could as well be brought to knee his throne, and squire-like pension beg to keep base life afoot. Return with her. Persuade me rather to be slave and sumpter to this detested groom.
At your choice, sir.
I prithee, daughter, do not make me mad. I will not trouble thee, my child. Farewell. We'll no more meet, no more see one another. But yet thou art my flesh, my blood, my daughter, or rather a disease that's in my flesh, which I must needs call mine. Thou art a boil, plague sore, an embossed carbuncle in my corrupted blood. But I'll not chide thee. Let shame come when it will, I do not call it. I do not bid the thunder-bearer shoot, nor tell tales of thee to high-judging Jove. Men, when thou canst, be better at thy leisure. I can be patient. I can stay with Regan, I and my 100 knights.
Not altogether so. I looked not for you yet, nor am provided for your fit welcome. Give ear, sir, to my sister, for those that mingle reason with your passion must be content to think you old, and so, but she knows what she does.
Is this well spoken?
I dare avouch it, sir. What, 50 followers? Is it not well? What should you need of more? Yea, or so many, sith that both charge and danger speak 'gainst so great a number. How in one house should many people under 2 commands hold amity? 'Tis hard, almost impossible.
Why might not you, my lord, receive attendance from those that she calls servants, or from mine?
Why not, my lord? If then they chance to slack you, we could control them. If you will, come to me, for now I spy a danger. I entreat you to bring but 25, to no more will I give place or notice.
I gave you all.
And in good time you gave it.
Made you my guardians, my depositaries, but kept a reservation to be followed with such a number. What, must I come to you with 25, Regan? Said you so?
And speak it again, my lord, no more with me.
These wicked creatures yet do look well favoured when others are more wicked. Not being worst stands in some rank of praise. I'll go with thee. Thy 50 yet doth double 25, and thou art twice her, love.
Hear me, my lord. What need you 25, 10, or 5, to follow in a house where twice so many have a command to tend you?
What need one?
Oh, these are not the need. Our basest beggars are in the poorest things superfluous. Allow not nature more than nature needs. Man's life is cheap as beasts. Thou art a lady. If only to go warm were gorgeous, why, nature needs not what thou gorgeous wear'st, which scarcely keeps thee warm. But for true need, oh, you heavens, give me patience. Patience I need. You see me here, you gods, a poor old man, as full of grief as age, wretched in both. If it be you that stirs these daughters' hearts against their father, fool me not so much to bear it tamely. Touch me with noble anger, and let not women's weapons, water drops, stain my man's cheeks. No, you unnatural hags, I will have such revenges on you both, that all the world shall... I will do such things. What they are I know not, but they shall be the terrors of the earth. You think I'll weep? No, I'll not weep. I have full cause of weeping. But this heart shall break into 100,000 flaws or ere I weep. Oh, Lord. Oh, I shall go mad.
Exeunt Lear, Gloucester, Kent, and Fool. Storm heard at a distance.
Let us withdraw. 'Twill be a storm.
This house is little. The old man and his people cannot be well bestowed.
'Tis his own blame. Hath put himself from rest, and must needs taste his folly.
For his particular, I'll receive him gladly, but not one follower.
So am I purposed. Where is my lord of Gloucester?
Followed the old man forth. He is returned.
Re-enter Gloucester.
The king is in high rage. Whither is he going? He calls to horse, but will I know not whither. 'Tis best to give him way. He leads himself.
My lord, entreat him by no means to stay.
Alack, the night comes on, and the high winds do sorely ruffle. For many miles about there's scarce a bush.
O, sir, to wilful men the injuries that they themselves procure must be their schoolmasters. Shut up your doors. He is attended with a desperate train, and what they may incense him to, being apt to have his ear abused, wisdom bids fear.
Shut up your doors, my lord. 'Tis a wild night. My Regan counsels well. Come out of the storm.
Exeunt. End of Act 2, Scene 4 from King Lear. Act 1, Scene 7 from Macbeth by William Shakespeare. Scene 7. A lobby in the castle. Hautboys and torches. Enter and pass over a sewer and divers servants with dishes and service. Then enter Macbeth.
If it were done when 'tis done, then 'twere well it were done quickly. If the assassination could trammel up the consequence and catch with his surcease success, that but this blow might be the be-all and the end-all, here, but here upon this bank and shoal of time, we'd jump the life to come. But in these cases we still have judgment here, that we but teach bloody instructions, which being taught return to plague the inventor. This even-handed justice commends the ingredients of our poisoned chalice to our own lips. He's here in double trust. First, as I am his kinsman and his subject, strong both against the deed. Then as his host, who should against his murderer shut the door, not bear the knife myself. Besides, this Duncan hath borne his faculties so meek, hath been so clear in his great office, that his virtues will plead like angels trumpet-tongued against the deep damnation of his taking off, and pity like a naked new-born babe, striding the blast o'er heaven's cherubim, horsed upon the sightless couriers of the air, shall blow the horrid deed in every eye, that tears shall drown the wind. I have no spur to prick the sides of my intent, but only vaulting ambition, which o'erleaps itself and falls on the other.
Enter Lady Macbeth.
How now? What news?
He has almost supped. Why have you left the chamber?
Hath he asked for me?
Know you not he has?
We will proceed no further in this business. He hath honoured me of late, and I have bought golden opinions from all sorts of people, which will be worn now in their newest gloss, not cast aside so soon.
Was the hope drunk wherein you dressed yourself? Hath it slept since, and it wakes now to look so green and pale at what it did so freely? From this time, such I account thy love, art thou afeard to be the same in thine own act and valour as thou art in desire? Wouldst thou have that which thou esteem'st the ornament of life, and live a coward in thine own esteem, letting I dare not wait upon I would, like the poor cat in the adage?
Prithee, peace. I dare do all that may become a man. Who dares do more is none.
What beast was't, then, that made you break this enterprise to me? When you durst do it, then you were a man, and, to be more than what you were, you would be so much more the man. Nor time nor place did then adhere, and yet you would make both. They have made themselves, and that their fitness now does unmake you. I have given suck, and know how tender 'tis to love the babe that milks me. I would, while it was smiling in my face, have plucked my nipple from his boneless gums and dashed the brains out, had I so sworn as you have done to this.
If we should fail.
We fail? But screw your courage to the sticking place, and we'll not fail. When Duncan is asleep, whereto the rather shall his hard day's journey soundly invite him, his two chamberlains will I with wine and wassail so convince that memory, the warder of the brain, shall be a fume, and the receipt of reason a limbeck only. When in swinish sleep their drenched natures lie as in a death, what cannot you and I perform upon the unguarded Duncan? What not put upon his spongy officers, who shall bear the guilt of our great quell?
Bring forth men children only, for thy undaunted metal should compose nothing but males. Will it not be received, when we have marked with blood those sleepy two of his own chamber, and used their very daggers that they have done it?
Who dares receive it other, as we shall make our griefs and clamour roar upon his death?
I am settled, and bend up each corporal agent to this terrible feat. Away, and mock the time with fairest show. False face must hide what the false heart doth know.
Exeunt. End of Act 1, Scene 7, from Macbeth.
Act 2, Scenes 1 to 3, from Macbeth, by William Shakespeare. Act 2, Scenes 1 to 3. Inverness, court within the castle.
Is this a dagger which I see before me, the handle toward my hand? Come, let me clutch thee. I have thee not, and yet I see thee still. Art thou not a fatal vision, sensible to feeling as to sight? Or art thou but a dagger of the mind, a false creation, proceeding from the heat-oppressed brain? I see thee yet in form as palpable as this which now I draw. Thou marshallest me the way that I was going, and such an instrument I was to use. Mine eyes are made the fools of the other senses, or else worth all the rest. I see thee still, and on thy blade and dudgeon gouts of blood, which was not so before. There's no such thing. It is the bloody business which informs thus to mine eyes. Now o'er the one-half world nature seems dead, and wicked dreams abuse the curtained sleep. Witchcraft celebrates pale Hecate's offerings, and withered murder, alarmed by his sentinel the wolf, whose howls is watch. Thus with his stealthy pace, with Tarquin's ravishing strides, towards his design moves like a ghost. Thou sure and firm set earth, hear not my steps which way they walk, for fear thy very stones prate of my whereabout, and take the present horror from the time which now suits with it. Whiles I threat, he lives. Words to the heat of deeds too cold breath gives. I go, and it is done. The bell invites me. Hear it not, Duncan, for it is a knell that summons thee to heaven or to hell.
Exit. Enter Lady Macbeth.
That which hath made them drunk has made me bold. What hath quenched them hath given me fire. Hark! Peace. It was the owl that shrieked, the fatal bellman which gives the sternest good night. He is about it. The doors are open, and the surfeited grooms do mock their charge with snores. I have drugged their possets that death and nature do contend about them, whether they live or die.
Who's there? What? Ho!
Alack! I am afraid they have awaked and 'tis not done. The attempt, and not the deed, confounds us. Hark! I laid their daggers ready, he could not miss 'em. Had he not resembled my father as he slept, I had done it.
Re-enter Macbeth.
My husband.
I have done the deed. Didst thou not hear a noise?
I heard the owl scream and the crickets cry. Did not you speak?
When?
Now.
As I descended?
Aye.
Hark! Who lies in the second chamber?
Donalbain.
This is a sorry sight.
A foolish thought, to say a sorry sight.
There's one did laugh in sleep, and one cried murder, that they did wake each other. I stood and heard them, but they did say their prayers, and addressed them again to sleep.
There are two lodged together.
One cried God bless us, and amen the other, as they had seen me with these hangman's hands. Listening their fair, I could not say amen when they did say God bless us.
Consider it not so deeply.
But wherefore could I not pronounce amen? I had most need of blessing, and amen stuck in my throat.
These deeds must not be thought after these ways. So it will make us mad.
Methought I heard a voice cry, sleep no more. Macbeth does murder sleep. The innocent sleep, sleep that knits up the ravelled sleeve of care, the death of each day's life, sore labour's bath, balm of hurt minds, great nature's second course, chief nourisher in life's feast.
What do you mean?
Still it cried, Sleep no more, to all the house. Glamis hath murdered sleep, and therefore Cawdor shall sleep no more. Macbeth shall sleep no more.
Who was it that thus cried? Why, worthy Thane, you do unbend your noble strength to think so brainsickly of things? Go get some water, and wash this filthy witness from your hand. Why did you bring these daggers from the place? They must lie there. Go carry them, and smear the sleepy grooms with blood.
I'll go no more. I am afraid to think what I have done. Look on't again, I dare not.
Infirm of purpose, give me the daggers. The sleeping and the dead are but as pictures. 'Tis the eye of childhood that fears a painted devil. If he do bleed, I'll gild the faces of the grooms withal, for it must seem their guilt.
Whence is that knocking? Oh, how is't with me, when every noise appalls me? What hands are here? Oh, they pluck out my eyes. Will all great Neptune's ocean wash this blood clean from my hand? No, this my hand will rather the multitudinous seas in incarnadine, making the green one red.
My hands are of your colour, but I shame to wear a heart so white. I hear knocking at the south entry. Retire we to our chamber. A little water clears us of this deed. How easy is it then? Your constancy hath left you unattended. Hark! More knocking. Get on your nightgown, lest occasion call us, and show us to be watchers. Be not lost so poorly in your thoughts.
To know my deed, 'twere best not know myself. Wake Duncan with thy knocking. I would thou couldst.
Exeunt. Enter a porter.
Here's a knocking indeed. If a man were porter of Hellgate, he should have all turning the key. Knock, knock, knock. Who's there? In the name of Beelzebub. Here's a farmer that hanged himself on the expectation of plenty. Come in time. Have napkins enow about you. Here you'll sweat for it. Knock, knock. Who's there, in the other devil's name? Faith, here's an equivocator that could swear in both the scales against either scale, who committed treason enough for God's sake, yet could not equivocate to heaven. Oh, come in, equivocator. Knock, knock, knock. Who's there? Faith, here's an English tailor come hither for stealing out of a French hose. Come in, tailor. Here you may roast your goose. Knock, knock. Never at quiet. What are you? But this place is too cold for hell. I'll devil porter it no further. I had thought to have let in some of all professions that go the primrose way to the everlasting bonfire. Anon, anon, I pray you, remember the porter.
Opens the gate. End of Act 2, Scenes 1 to 3 of Macbeth.
Act 4, Scene 1 from Macbeth by William Shakespeare. Act 4, Scene 1. A cavern. In the middle, a boiling cauldron. Thunder. Enter the three witches.
Thrice the brinded cat hath mooed.
Thrice, and once the hedge pig whined.
Harpier cries, 'tis time, 'tis time.
Round about the cauldron go, in the poisoned entrails throw. Toad that under cold stone days and nights has 31 sweltered venom sleeping got. Boil thou first in charmed pot.
Double, double toil and trouble, fire burn and cauldron bubble. Fillet of a fenny snake, in the cauldron boil and bake. Eye of newt and toe of frog, wool of bat and tongue of dog. Adder's fork and blind worm's sting, lizard's leg and howlet's wing. For a charm of powerful trouble, like a hell broth boil and bubble. Double, double toil and trouble, fire burn and cauldron bubble.
Scale of dragon, tooth of wolf, witch's mummy, moor and gulf. Of the raven, salt sea shark, root of hemlock, digged in the dark. Liver of blaspheming Jew, gall of goat and slips of yew, silvered in the moon's eclipse, nose of Turk and Tartar's lips, finger of birth's strangled babe, ditch delivered by a drab. Make the gruel thick and slab, and thereto a tiger's children, for the ingredients of our cauldron.
Double, double toil and trouble, fire burn and cauldron bubble.
Cool it with a baboon's blood, then the charm is firm and good.
Enter Hecate to the other three witches.
Oh, well done, I commend your pains, and every one shall share i' the gains. And now about the cauldron sing, like elves and fairies in a ring, enchanting all that you put in.
Music and a song, black spirits, etc. Hecate retires.
By the pricking of my thumbs, something wicked this way comes. Open locks, whoever knocks.
Enter Macbeth. How now, you secret black and midnight hags? What is't you do?
A deed without a name.
I conjure you by that which you profess, howe'er you come to know it, answer me. Though you untie the winds and let them fight against the churches, though the yeasty waves confound and swallow navigation up, though bladed corn be lodged and trees blown down, though castles topple on their warders' heads, though palaces and pyramids do slope their heads to their foundations, though the treasure of nature's germans tumble altogether, even till destruction sicken, answer me to what I ask you.
Speak.
Demand.
We'll answer.
Say if thou'dst rather hear it from our mouths or from our masters.
Call 'em. Let me see 'em.
Pour in sow's blood that has eaten her 9 Pharaoh. Grease that sweaten from the murderer's gibbet, throw into the flame.
Come high or low,
thyself and
office
office
deftly
deftly
show.
Thunder. First apparition. An armed head. Tell me, thou unknown power.
He knows thy thought. Hear his speech, but say thou naught.
Macbeth, Macbeth, Macbeth. Beware Macduff, beware the Thane of Fife. Dismiss me. Enough.
Whate'er thou art, for thy good caution, thanks. Thou hast harped my fear aright. But one word more.
He will not be commanded. Here's another, more potent than the first.
Thunder. Second apparition. A bloody child.
Macbeth, Macbeth, Macbeth.
Had I 3 ears, I'd hear thee.
Be bloody, bold, and resolute. Laugh to scorn the power of man, for none of woman born shall harm Macbeth.
Then live Macduff, what need I fear of thee? But yet I'll make assurance double sure, and take a bond of fate thou shalt not live, that I may tell pale-hearted fear it lies, and sleep in spite of thunder.
Thunder, third apparition. A child crowned, with a tree in his hand.
What is this that rises like the issue of a king, and wears upon his baby brow the round top of sovereignty?
Listen, but
but
speak
not to it.
Be lion-mettled, proud, and take no care who chafes, who frets, or where conspirers are. Macbeth shall never vanquished be until great Birnam wood to high Dunsinane hill shall come against him.
That will never be. Who can impress the forest, bid the tree unfix his earth-bound root? Sweet bodements, good. Rebellion's head rise never till the wood of Birnam rise, and our high-placed Macbeth shall live the lease of nature, pay his breath to time and mortal custom. Yet my heart throbs to know one thing. Tell me, if your art can tell so much, shall Banquo's issue ever reign in this kingdom?
Seek to
know
know
no more.
I will be satisfied. Deny me this, and an eternal curse fall on you. Let me know. Why sinks that cauldron, and what noise is this?
Hautboys.
Show.
Show,
Show.
show
his eyes and grieve his heart. Come like shadows, so depart.
A show of 8 kings, the last with a glass in his hand. Ghost of Banquo following.
Thou art too like the spirit of Banquo. Down. Thy crown does sear mine eyeballs, and thy hair, thou other gold-bound brow, is like the first. A third is like the former. Filthy hags, why do you show me this? A fourth? Start eyes. What will the line stretch out to the crack of doom? Another yet. A seventh. I see no more. And yet the eighth appears, who bears a glass which shows me many more. And some I see that twofold balls and treble sceptres carry. Horrible sight! Now I see 'tis true, for the blood-bolted Banquo smiles upon me and points at them for his.
Apparitions vanish.
What, is this so?
Aye, sir, all this is so. But why stands Macbeth thus amazedly? Come, sisters, cheer we up his sprites, and show the best of our delights. I'll charm the air to give a sound, while you perform your antic round, that this great king may kindly say, our duties did his welcome pay.
Music. The witches dance and then vanish with Hecate.
Where are they? Gone? Let this pernicious hour stand I accursed in the calendar.
End of Act 4, Scene 1 from Macbeth.